Caitlin Clark's expected return date could bring good news for Indiana Fever. Story by Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark dribbles the ball up court against the Golden State Valkyries at Gainbridge Fieldhouse on July 9, 2025. Trevor Ruskowski. Main images, Nathan Doherty. Wed, August 6, 2025 times 1 minute. Read 1. Caitlin Clark's expected return date could bring good news for Indiana Fever. Originally appeared on Athlon Sports. The Indiana Fever have found a way to keep winning with star Caitlin Clark on the sidelines with a groin injury, improving their record to 17-12 with a win Sunday over the Seattle Storm. While it remains unclear exactly when Clark could take the floor again, her expected return timeline could match up well with a critical stretch in the Fever's schedule. ESPN's Holly Rowe reported in late July that while Clark remained day-to-day, it would be realistic for her to return sometime around the third week in August. That could put the reigning WNBA Rookie of the Year back on the court for what could be the team's most important stretch of the season, a back-to-back set with the league-leading Minnesota Lynx on August the 22nd and 24th. The Fever are looking to climb up in the crowded playoff standings, and getting at least a split from the home-and-home series with the Lynx could be critical. Fever coach Stephanie White stressed after Sunday's win that the team was not going to rush Clark back onto the court. "I know she wants to be out here on the floor, we want her out here on the floor, but making sure that she's ready is the most important thing," White said. "I still don't know how far we are, we're gonna take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and go from there." Related, Stephanie White addresses unexpected benefit of losing Caitlin Clark. This story was originally reported by Athlon Sports on August 4, 2025, where it first appeared. As far as chess tournaments go, the Louisiana State Championship and Iowa Open are not what you would describe as big-time events. The highest-ranked players from either event last year didn't even rank in the top 10,000 of the World FIDE rankings, or the top 1,000 among US players. They are held in hotel ballrooms, with first-place prizes in the hundreds of dollars. These are tournaments mostly for local enthusiasts, playing because they enjoy chess. Some of them are children. So that begs a question. What was Hikaru Nakamura, the 37-year-old world #2 chess player and a man who makes hundreds of thousands of dollars per year as a streamer, doing at those tournaments this year? The answer is simultaneously funny, questionable, bureaucratic, and bizarre. The #2 chess player in the world is trying to brute force his way to the World Chess Championship. At the risk of explaining the obvious to fans, let's quickly go through the basic structure of elite chess. Everyone wants to be the World Chess Champion, but only a precious few are capable of even knocking on the door. The World Chess Championship is held every 2 years and features 2 players, usually the reigning champ and a challenger, playing several games until one of them clinches the majority of points available. Last year, Indian teenager Gukesh Dommaraju defeated champion Ding Liren with 3 wins, 2 losses and 9 ties in 14 games. Next year's championship will see Gukesh face a challenger, and that challenger is decided by the candidates tournament, an experience arguably more brutal than the championship itself. Each year, 8 of the best non-champion players in the world play each other in a round robin, with the top player winning a shot at the champ. There are several ways to get one of the 8 spots in the candidates tournament. 7 players will qualify for 2026 by performing well in one of 3 events: the FIDE Grand Swiss Tournament, the FIDE World Cup and the FIDE Circuit, which is itself a series of tournaments. However, one last spot is reserved for the non-qualified player with the highest average rating from the previous August to January. And that is where Nakamura comes in. The American has previously competed in 3 candidates tournaments and came just short last year, finishing a half point behind Gukesh. He wants to play in the 2026 candidates tournament, but does not plan to compete in the required tournaments. So he's going for the rating spot instead, which comes with some strings attached. Most notably, Nakamura is required to compete in 40 FIDE-sanctioned games during that 6-month period in which he has to be the highest-ranked eligible player. Fortunately for him, world #1 and former champion Magnus Carlsen has no plans to compete for his abdicated title again. That left Nakamura needing to play a certain number of games, preferably without risking his #2 ranking. As he explained a few months ago, via sponsorchess.com, his plan was to go and find some Mickey Mouse tournaments and get to 40 games, rather than face elite opponents and risk lowering his rating. And that's why one of the best chess players in the world is competing at some of the most random tournaments imaginable, because the only thing he can't do is lose. He ran the table in Louisiana and Iowa this month, and still needs to play 11 more games by the end of the year. What are these chess games like? If you need a visual for what a game between a player with Nakamura's rating, 2807, and his first opponent's rating, 1915. Looks like, imagine Paul Skeens showing up to a community college game in a world where those somehow counted for a Cy Young Award innings requirement. Some games were closer than others, but Nakamura won all 12 without much trouble. His first Iowa game was so easy that he finished with more time on the clock than when he started. His final Iowa game saw him clinch the title against 13-year-old Artemiy Khanbutarev. Via chess.com, Nakamura saw that game as an exercise in benevolence. It is an opportunity to give back. For example, this final opponent I played, this 12-year-old kid, is someone who's working with a very strong grandmaster and a former US champion. I'm sure he and his coach will go over this game, he'll learn from it, and I have no doubt he'll probably go on to become at least an international master down the road. It's an experience I think he will cherish for a very long time. Even a tie would have seen Nakamura lose significant points due to his opponent's lower rating, but he is benefiting from the fact that wins will always increase his rating, just by a negligibly small amount. Is what Hikaru Nakamura is doing precedented? In the last cycle, Grandmaster Alireza Firouzja competed in a series of matches at his club as well as the Rouen Open to feed his rating and pass Wesley so as the top-rated player not already in the tournament. That situation actually led to governing body FIDE changing the rules and adding the 6-month average to the ratings requirement to prevent similar incidents. In 2022, Ding was in a position similar to Nakamura's, needing to play several games to meet a requirement. In that case, COVID-19 had wreaked havoc with Ding's ability to travel for international tournaments, so the Chinese Chess Association responded by organizing 3 rated events to let him reach the threshold and improve his rating. In theory, the candidates tournament should feature the world's top players, and including a spot for the highest rated player should help that goal, as tournaments can be fickle. In practice, some players will do whatever they need to make their number go up or stay up. We are simply watching incentives at work. How do the guys getting steamrolled feel about Hikaru Nakamura? They really don't seem to mind. Yes, getting blown out is embarrassing in a vacuum, but you need to remember all of these guys are huge chess fans, and Nakamura is one of the celebrities of the chess world. Odds are these players will never get another chance to face a player of Nakamura's caliber, so these are tell your grandkids experiences for them. A couple of his Louisiana opponents even seemed to show up in the comments of his YouTube video breaking down the games. I'm Harry, James. That was pretty unbelievable. Lasting 44 moves in a tournament game against Hikaru is something I will always remember. I'm Nahum, Jose Villamil, the third game guy. Imagine signing up for your first official tournament in years, in a foreign country, and seeing one of your childhood idols showing up in his journey to the world title. It felt like that time that some Paraguayan inmates were hosting a football tournament in jail and one of the teams showed up with Ronaldinho ha ha ha. In 2 words, a dream. I was paired against an absolute icon, got a nice chat, pictures, a sign sheet, and now a recap of my mistakes haha. What else can you ask for? That he gets to win the world title and to be a little part of that. Thanks, Hikaru.